imports, storage, processing, marketing of bitumen in January. 3 entities support flood victims, and there's a picture to go along with that. And as I mentioned, I'll be plugging our relevant numbers, account numbers, so you too can contribute and pay your widow's mite. The new publisher this morning, NDC doubles attacks on Bawumia. Samuel Uku exposes diabolic strategy. What is this strategy? It's captured on page 2. We'll zoom into that as we proceed. Minister warns e-commerce operators. We'll find out exactly what sort of warning this is. Let's direct our arsenals at the NDC, not ourselves. Katie Hammond pictured here on the front page. The Today newspaper, they say truth and enlightenment, has this to say on the front page. CID imposter unmasked, captured in page 3. Our leaders have failed us. I'll tell you who is saying that. La General Hospital in limbo as sponsors halt funds for reconstruction. A big one on our radar this morning. A few more to go. Crosby, good morning to you.
Good morning, Helen. Good to see you.
How
are you doing?
Good to see you as well. Doing well. Doing fantastic. What do you have for us? You've got the Custodian.
I'll bring you the front page of the Custodian newspaper, and it says that support for media crucial for democracy. Upon Nkrumah is saying there's also Ghana's symbiotic BRI impacting positively on countries. NHIA grabs 5 hospitals for charging illegal fees, and Ghana's growth rate to double in 2024, KPMG is predicting. The front page of the Daily Analyst newspaper, the big story is Electrochem denying shooting resident expresses readiness to cooperate with the police. Ghana to get $150 million from the World Bank support ORC to operate VVIP Prestige Center by the end of November. These are the stories that the Daily Analyst is reporting. There's also on the front page, Kulibu Renal Unit. Government must find money to tackle dialysis crisis, coming from Derek Odro asserting. And then Ghana's public debt. Every citizen, Helen, owes 19,000 Ghana cedis.
How much? 19,000 Ghana cedis. Okay, so if we want to come out of our debt,
that's according to former President John Dramani Mahama.
We owe 19,000 cedis each.
Into Helen, what the can 19,000?
So these
are the stories on the front pages of the paper.
Sure thing. Let's zoom into the La General Hospital. It's captured here on the front page of the Today newspaper. On page 3, La General Hospital in limbo. Now, the majority leader in Parliament, Osei Mensa Bonsu, has blamed the delay in the reconstruction of the La General Hospital in Accra on the withholding of funds by the sponsors of the facility. Making a statement on the floor of Parliament, Mensa Bonsu said that the sponsors withheld the funds after Ghana entered into an engagement with the IMF. I'm quoting him here. He says, Mr. Speaker, what has happened is that after the engagement with the IMF funding from those sources that Parliament approved of, the funding has been withheld by the sponsors. Chairman Sabonsu said, Mr. Speaker, until the nation is given a clean bill of health by the IMF, it is going to be difficult for the funding to be released. This is why the government now wants to situate it within the context of Agenda 111, and that will mean the facility will have to be scaled down a bit.
I mean, what explanation is the majority leader trying to give to us? How long has the project been stalled? And then when did we go to the IMF?
Right.
Is it that the expectation to go to the IMF or the decision was made years before it was communicated to us that I can? Because if the facility stalled years ago and we went to the IMF only somewhere last year, then how does it make sense? Maybe somebody should help me make some understanding out of this. It just does not sit well with me. If you can't do it, there's a group saying that we are ready to construct it. If government, you don't have the money to do it, give us the project and let us build it. Now, the Member of Parliament for the area too is also very livid about the stalled project. You demolished the thing in 2020. How long ago was it? 2020.
2020.
and then you've not constructed 2021, 2022. I think these explanations, they just do not sit well. It means there's no end in sight. When are we getting out of this IMF program? So until we get out of the IMF program, the residents of land, the surrounding communities, they will not have the benefit of the La General Hospital. It just does not sit well in any way.
I know a lot of people also share the same sentiments, Crosby. What are the people in the area supposed to do?
Yeah.
This hospital was somewhat functioning before it was pulled down. But I've had different explanations for why this project is in limbo. And hopefully as the weeks progress, this becomes much more clearer. And I mean, speaking of IMF, we could be seeing a stalling in us receiving the next tranche because of our external debt arrangements, not being able to restructure those debts.
The information minister, about a month ago when he was in Morocco, told me that the negotiations were going very well and they were very expectant that by the end of last month they would get done. So what's changed? What snag did they hit, and at what point did they hit the snag? Is it that they're refusing to communicate the reality on the ground to us, just like they have done all these years? They have their own expectations. They refuse to tell us what it is. They refuse to let us understand or to share the pain. They are just not talking to us the way that we want to be spoken to. You tell us that it is going well, and then all of a sudden, oh, the thing that we said was going well is not going well again. What happened?
Hopefully we'll be getting an update on that. Are you confident that maybe the finance minister and his team will come and break down these issues for us so that we can accurately
you come and break it down?
The accurately is where you are not convinced, Crosby. Very cheeky. Let's change gears now and let's head over to the Ghanaian Times this morning. Wager Dam under siege. Minister warns encroachers to stay away. This comes up quite often, especially when we have spillages and we see the after effects. Now, the Minister of Sanitation and Water Resources, Dr. Frida Prempeh, has warned encroachers building close to the Wager Dam to desist from it or risk being prosecuted and their buildings pulled down by the national security. She said it was illegal for structures to be put up less than 500 meters away from the dam, adding that such activities had the tendency of causing destruction over time. Dr. Prempeh, who gave the warning during a working visit to the Wager Dam and the Boneland Fill site yesterday, said ensuring encroachers stayed away from the country's dams was not the responsibility of the sector ministry or the Ghana Water Company Limited only. She therefore called on the municipal and district assemblies to ensure permits were not issued to people, for construction to be undertaken at unauthorized places. This is the decisiveness that we're looking for from leadership to make sure that everybody stays in check. What more should be done to prevent these?
Apart from municipal assemblies, district assemblies, the assembly members and the communities taking charge of this themselves, Helen, I believe that with some of these issues, their responsibility is on the citizens. You know that you're going close to somewhere you should not be, even if they are giving you the permit. If it happens that it overflows in banks and then the house you've gone to build there is affected, did you lose or did you win? I think it's pretty simple. Although you're looking for places to live and all of that, sometimes try and prioritize your safety. What happened in the Volta region, the spillage of the Akosomo Dam? That's not what I'm saying should happen. But if there's an overflow of the dam, the Wejagbawe scenario, and then you have a building right there, you'd be greatly affected. You lose more than you invested. So just try and, the citizens should sometimes try and listen and then be citizens and not spectators. Sometimes take your destiny in your own hands. If it happens, you'd be expecting National Disaster Management Organization to come and help you. You'd be expecting...
And we know that they don't have it. They don't have it.
The Ministry of Information does not have money.
Eh?
We'll talk about that one later. Yesterday at a press, the Ministry of Information, it was clear that they were as broke as any.
Hey, no, Ministry of Information, they can't be broke. Talk to me. What's going on?
That's one of an angle of the story that was reported by the Custodian newspaper. The support for media is crucial for democracy. The Ministry of Information, all the time they present budget statements to Parliament. Their budget estimation, they just do not get it. But government is still able to employ communicators of the party, presidential staffers and all of that. And the Information Ministry will be generally supervising all the aspects of media engagement, communication in the country. They just do not have money, Helen.
Who has money these days?
Almost all governments have money except President Kufuor's government.
Oh boy, the new publisher takes us to the side of some hardcore politics. NDC doubles attacks on Baumia. Samir Uku exposes diabolic strategy. Also, let's direct our arsenals at the NDC, not on ourselves. KT Hammond. Let's take a listen to what KT Hammond has
to channel the showdown properly.
And I think Kennedy Japan said that when he was giving his acceptance, acceptance of defeat speech. That's the one, a mouthful. Acceptance of defeat speech. He said that actually the showdown now is reserved for the NDC. Do you think Honorable should be Dr. Baumia's running mate? Do you think they can work together effectively?
They cannot work together.
Oh,
I mean, in my mind, it's very clear that Kennedy Japan was in the race for a purpose. He did not get the reason. His aim or his goal was not attained.
Right.
And Kennedy will not accept to be a second option. He will not do it.
Really?
I don't see Kennedy. Their temperaments, their expectations, their goals, I don't see them working together at all.
But we opposites attract, or?
Opposite attract, but this opposite is too opposite.
It's too opposite.
Hey, Kennedy and Dr. Baumia. Dr. Baumia would take a decision as president, and then Kennedy would disagree. And after press, Kennedy would come and say that I told him not to take that.
You know what? I can see that happening. Let me not even lie. I can envision it in my mind. But this story on page 3 says Minister for Trade and Industry Kobina Tahir Hammond is urging the rank and file of the New Patriotic Party (NPP) to dissolve various camps and focus on building a solidified front ahead of the 2024 polls. He advised that the aspirants and their supporters should direct their arsenals at their main opponents, the NDC, and not amongst themselves. Speaking to the media in a post-election interview, the lawmaker in the Ashanti region wondered why people will want to dwell in the past when there's need to chart a new path after the election of a new flag bearer who is sitting vice president. He says, let us show the NDC that even if they eat bags of salts and 100 drums of gari, they can never compete with the NPP when it comes to elections. Now that the polls are over, I'm pleading with the rank and file of the party, including the aspirants, they should come together so we can direct our arsenal at the NDC. Do you think enough has been done to smooth the waters, calm the issues?
It's too early. The waters will be calm for a while. The immediate phase will be very calm. But going into a few months after the elections, when the bridges that were constructed to bring the factions together begins to crack, then we'll see whether or not a lot has been done or what has been done will be enough. When it begins to appear as though the election that somebody thought was free and fair was not free and fair after all, then we'll see what the real scenario is in the political front. You know, politics, you hardly can predict the dynamics in Ghana's politics, particularly with the persons that are involved. With a comment from KT Hammond, in the Ashanti region, Global Info Analytics is saying that the MPP has a lot to do in the Ashanti region if they want to win 2024 election, because the analysis of the region show that a lot of the residents there are not happy with the performance of the government. So they have a lot more to do there. It beckons on the NPP to listen and do what is expected of them, or for the NDC to take advantage of the gap that the NPP has left in the Ashanti region.
Well, time check, it is some 12 minutes to the top of the hour, 7 a.m. Apologies, Johnny will not be biting this morning. There will be no Johnny's Bite this morning. It will return, of course, tomorrow. Apologies for that. There will be no Johnny's Bite this morning. But speaking of breaking the 8, let's take a listen to what Dr. Baumia, now flag bearer of the NPP, had to say about breaking the 8, and we'll come back to our discussions.
We speak about breaking the 8, but it's important to remember that that's more than just a slogan. By breaking the 8, we break with the culture of complacency. We reject the tacit agreement that power is handed over every 8 years, thereby relinquishing responsibility for the growth of this nation. This 8-year cycle stands in the way of a long-term vision for Ghana. Therefore, breaking it is not about MPP bragging rights. It is about being able to successfully implement long-term visions and policies under a consistent leadership. Breaking the 8 is not about partisanship, but about patriotism and knowing that Ghana deserves consistency, focus, and follow through, not political bickering and division. We will break the 8 in unity, and we will govern in unity, because regardless of the margin of our victory, we govern for and in the interest of 100% of Ghanaians. We have 2 tasks ahead, ladies and gentlemen. First is to lead the new patriotic party to victory in 2024. And secondly, to steward this nation from recovery to prosperity. Given the chance, I am determined to serve as a leader for a united Ghana, for all Ghanaians, regardless of background, circumstance, or socioeconomic status. Ghana is a haven of peace and coexistence. And one of the many strengths of our nation is that while we may differ and debate, come together in unity for the good of Mother Ghana. We will come together in unity. I have felt the hope and unity as I have traveled across the country over these past months. And I feel it here today as we prepare to build back better for us all. So we celebrate today, but tomorrow we get back to work for you, for Ghana, and for all of us. I cannot end my speech without my deepest appreciation to certain personalities in our party and country. As a believer and practitioner of the liberal democratic values and principles of the Dankwa Dombo Buzia tradition, like all of you here, I have been inspired throughout my life by the thinking, deeds, sacrifices, and accomplishments of such great political icons of our country and party, such as Dr. J.B. Dankwa, Chief S.D. Dombo, Professor K.A. Buzia, Edward Akufo-Addo, Obechibi Lamte, Alhaji Yakubu Tali Tolona, Jato Kalio, Naba Ifakabo, S.G. Anto, Professor Albert Dubois, R. Amponsa, J.B. Darocha, J.H. Mensah, and J. Kufuor. I express my profound gratitude to the founders of our tradition, without whose sacrifices I would not be here today. I am also indebted to so many men and women who have sacrificed and continue to sacrifice for our party and country on a daily basis without outward recognition. I extend my sincere thanks to President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
FM 92.7, Urban Lifestyle Radio Station.
Aware that it's going to be a tough journey ahead. Crosby, you had him here. And let me say good morning to Mr. Asiedu. Good morning, good morning. Doing fantastic. How are we?
Boga has landed. That's it, you baffle.
So he says, yes, it's not going to be easy, but he's up for the task. A lot was made about that comment he made also about being his own person.
Well, the Akufo-Addo shoe will be hard to fill in all the negative senses. I mean,
you're saying it can only go up from here.
It can only go up from here.
I see.
We've reached the bottom of the pit.
I see.
So whatever happens, you have to find your own shoes and then wear them. If you want to fit in Akufo-Addo shoes, you're just digging through concrete. It will be hard for you to do that.
Goodness me. Well, sticking with this again because it came up in the publisher on page 3. It says NDC doubles attacks on Obawemia. We're in the season. We're in the season, very much in there because next year Ghana goes to the polls December 2024. So we're going to be hearing a lot of bickering, if you will, political talk, as they sometimes refer to it as. But let's also take a listen to Honorable Kennedy Ohene Ejapon as he responds after his defeat. He says now the showdown is transferred to the NDC. Let's take a quick listen.
The next on the list. Popularly known as the showdown. Honorable Kennedy Ejapon.
Thank you, Mr. DJ. Thank you. Joe boy. MPP will say yeah. MPP will say Mr. President, the First Lady, the Vice President, the Second Lady, Chief of Staff, National Chairman, Council of Elders Chairman, Election Committees Chairman, my colleagues, aspirants, all protocol observed. Indeed, it's a great day today. I believe the party has been fair and transparent. Yes! That is the only thing I've always been preaching. And I must admit, this election is fair. And my grassroots have spoken. And therefore, I accept the results in good faith. I pledge my support that we're going to work tirelessly to break the 8. So, party members that we are here, we should put everything behind us and let's unite this party. For unity, I believe we can break the 8. And that is all I've been preaching for. So I congratulate the Elections Committee the police department, electoral commission, and the party members for the commitment you've shown for peace. And I want to assure you, in 2024, the showdown is being translated to we have to come together and give NDC a showdown. Once again, I want
3FM.
Master.
Lifestyle
Obiane master. Master. Pay for crowd master. Master. Kennedy Japan master.
3FM.
Leo master.
Shama tiye lusugad.
Leo master.
Nyama tiye lusukap.
For master.
Tigana kusi Trinidad.
Japan, speaking after his defeat on Saturday, coming second to the sitting vice president, Dr. Bawumia. He says the showdown has been transferred to the NDC. Time check, it is 7 a.m. You're still live here on 3FM Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. It's an extended news review this morning. Apologies again for the lack of Johnny's Bites. Of course, it will return tomorrow. Hot and fresh. But William, we've listened to the vice president giving his acceptance speech, and also Kennedy Japan reacting there. He says the showdown now has been transferred to the NDC. In certain quarters, I'm hearing that let's give Honorable Kennedy Japan a few weeks, and once the adrenaline has come down, we'll see him revert to some of his, earlier discussions, because he was emphatic about what would happen should Dr. Bawumia win. Is that just, as we say, political talk? They're in a competition, or was he really firm in that belief? Could they potentially partner to see NPP break the 8?
Yesterday, I took time to listen to Kennedy Japan's Honorable Kennedy Japan's station, Oman FM.
Right.
For good reason. I mean, on Tuesdays, they have the boiling point. And his supporters are up in arms against the MPP system. Some are even threatening that they will vote against the party if he accepts to be the running mate.
So they will go against them rather if he accepts.
Yes.
They want him to be on his own.
Yes. They say that, they say he's not the presidential material. He doesn't know how to talk. He's a fake businessman. So how can a person like this be there? They should leave him alone. And he should also concentrate on preparing for 2028 and so on and so forth. So, and if you look at his mood at the rally, the declaration rally, as I call it, I mean, naturally he wasn't happy, but he had to.
Yeah.
And yesterday, some of his people were saying that even when he was coming from home, the party sent some security people to protect him. As if now he's that important to the party and all that. So. For me, as I've always said, if there's a competition like this, fire will fly, and people will get angry. There will be talk here and there. But at the end of the day, MPP had their primary some time ago. There were 17 of them. They threw mud at them up and down, but ultimately they won power at some points, and they are back in power. So it is just the work that they will do behind closed doors. It is not what we'll see in the media, because that's how politicians work. You see all the noise, you hear all the noise and see all the dark spots in the media. But what they do behind closed doors is what is important. So for me, whatever Dr. Bawumia has said in his speech, whatever Honorable Japan also said in his speech, and what people are saying now will not be as important as what the party will be doing behind closed doors. Yes, because that's how politics is. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, we sitting here wouldn't know the conversations that they will be having unless they let the press in. It's not everything that they will allow the press to come.
That is true.
And we also know they will make some overtures because he has lost He has lost time, he has lost money, and it depends on how his demands will be. And if you look at the last election, the gentleman who had issues with the MPP,
and he decided to go independent.
You know the rancor that happened. I mean, literally the president went to his place and was literally speaking against him and all that. But
They disowned him at that point.
But when he won, they went behind closed doors and spoke. And whatever they did, he came back to announce that he was going to be voting for the MPP. And so that's what I expect to happen. Because Mr. Japan is a businessman. He knows how to do his calculations, and politics is about interest.
Right.
At all points, politics is about interest. So he will make sure that he uses his experience, 20-year plus experience in politics, or maybe in parliament, plus other experience that he has had on the field of politics, to make his decision going forward. But as for Vice President Bawumia, we all know that, I mean, he has won.
Right.
He had all the support. People are saying that he has garnered the highest votes in terms of first-timers from the MPP who have won the flag bearership. But it doesn't mean that he had it easy, especially when we know that the candidates who stood on the ticket of the MPP over the years were not sitting vice presidents.
Exactly, that is the difference.
Came without any establishment support. He made his 50 plus. Nana Akufo-Addo came without any establishment support, as it were. He also did what he did. But
and that's an important factor to add. You can't ignore it.
Yes, and Vice President Bawumia has had all the support, and he garnered 61.47. And so his team shouldn't think that he has done so well in terms of the numbers that he garnered in the primary. But the fact that he's won is important for the team to now sit back, choose their words well, package him well, and then put him on the market. And then the people of Ghana will decide come 2024.
Very interesting times ahead indeed. And we're asking you to also weigh in on the conversation. We're active on X at 3FM927. Maybe this morning we'll put up a poll and check the temperature. Get your thoughts on that. The Daily Graphic has just landed on the desk, hot and fresh. And they also have a few stories on the front page. This one has caught my attention. Let's move on from the NPP. Let's talk NDC. NDC will reverse declining economy. That's coming from former President John Dramani Mahama. A reminder also that we'll open up the phone lines in about 9 minutes for Community Voices. This is the segment where you can tell us what is going on in your community. Are there any issues that you would like to highlight? Any issues that you would like us to be aware of? Do get involved in the conversation. I'll plug the numbers in due course. Page 13, NDC will reverse declining economy. And that's coming again from former President John Dramani Mahama. Now, the next NDC government will introduce a 24-hour economy work schedule to put the economy back on track, former President Mahama has said. In a meeting with the leadership of the Trades Union Congress, TUC, in Accra yesterday, Mr. Mahama said the 24-hour economy strategy will enable businesses with the support of government to run a 24-hour shift that would deal with the unemployment situation and increase the economic fortunes of the country. The flag bearer of the NDC, who was accompanied by a strong force of party leadership and bigwigs, including his running mates for the 2020 general election, Professor Jane Nana Opukwajiman, the minority leader, Kesel Atufos, and amongst others, said the initiative was also part of the transformational measures to be introduced by the party when voted into power to deal with the declining fortunes of the economy. This isn't the first time I've heard former president talk about a 24-hour economy, and now we're going to be scrutinizing some of the ideas, possible policy decisions and initiatives that all candidates seeking to be president or seeking to come into government are bringing forth. So this one here for us to put on the table, 24-hour economy. The explanations make sense. In practical terms, how easy or how difficult is something like this?
I don't think it's something that should be difficult to operationalize. I haven't looked at the labor law, intensely to see where it sits. But for me, of course, look, if you go to China, you see they work almost round the clock, Sundays, and they work. So I haven't got the full details of what the president said, the former president said. But it is something that is possible. I mean, why not? Because look, when we come to office, people are under stress. They come 8 to 5, and it's almost like a mundane situation. They just come and pass through and get paid. And so if the business is said that it can, we run a 24 hours structure here.
That's right.
So if I can come and do 3 hours a day and take my salary or whatever wages for that and go, and somebody can come and continue, so we have more space for more people to come and work, rather than me sitting here from 8 to 5 or 8 to 9 without doing anything.
And in that
paid.
time, maybe your most productive hours are about 3.
That's
anyways.
What I'm saying. So then the supervision is what must be tightened.
Right.
So if I come to work 6 o'clock a.m., I'm here. 10 a.m., I'm done, I'm gone. Somebody comes, takes over from wherever we've left off, and then they also do another 4 hours. They call off, they don't get paid. You know, that kind of thing. You can call somebody to sit in for you, like as happens elsewhere.
That's right.
Now, there's even a talk about minority employment. The minority employment is looking at the aged, the disabled. So in some countries, there's a whole business that employs just the aged because of their experience.
Right.
And the disabled.
Like we even used to have with our toll booths that were pretty much reserved for
the physically challenged. Let me put it that way. They are able. So if we are looking at employment in that, in that sense, then we are going to give everybody opportunity to earn something and also to increase productivity. Because the situation where people come to work, somebody comes to work very early, and we are excited about people who come to work very early and close very late. And then there's nothing to check.
What is the productivity? What is the output?
And so people come to work and the whole day they'll be all over the place. They won't do anything. And they said, oh, this guy, he comes to work very early. And everybody's excited that he comes to work very early.
Maybe he's coming very early for his own. He has a reason why he has to come here very early.
It's a very, very important conversation I think we should have in terms of productivity. Because elsewhere, you've lived abroad. You can't go and be wasting time.
And in fact, what I appreciated in my last employment was the flexibility. So for my employer, as long as you clocked your 8 hours or so, they were fine with that. So you had the opportunity to come to work, either do 7 to 3. Some people did 8 to 4. Those who preferred 9 to 5, you were allowed. And then there was 10 to 6 and then 11 to 7 p.m. So as long as you came, unless you came after 11 a.m., you were not late because you would just clock your hours and they allowed for that. As long as you give prior notice that maybe Monday to Wednesday, I want to do 8 to 4. Thursday, I want to do 11-7. Friday, I want to do 8 to 4, for example. And that really helped because parents were able to take their kids to school and have ease of comfort. Those that don't wake up so early are more productive towards the latter part of the day, could also take up that and it made for a happier workforce, much happier per the hour.
So if you want to put in more hours, you do it.
And there was incentives for working extra hours. Working at the weekend, Sundays, double pay, always made for enthusiastic workers.
Just beyond the 24-hour system that the NDC is announcing, I think we should look at productivity and how people use time during office hours.
Very important.
Very, very important. So that, we'll make more money and see how the economy will turn around.
Well, a few more sweet promises here. Additionally, the former president said there would be a review to eliminate ex gratia in its current form, music to my ears, discontinue the payment of utility bills, fuel, DSTV, and others as part of top government's employee service conditions. And like I said, this is the kind of talk we're going to be hearing moving forward. A lot of promises, and we'll be dissecting these as we go along. Time check, some 12 minutes past the hour of 7. This is still 3FM Sunrise on 3FM 92.7, an extended news review. But let's take a quick listen. I think this one will interest us all. This is Esiedun Ketia, chairman of the NDC. He sat down with our colleague, Kemini, answering the question about whether or not people are apologizing for calling former President John Dramani Mahama incompetent. Let's take a quick listen. When we come back, we'll chit-chat some more, and then we'll open up the phone line so you two can have your say.
You see, the only constant in nature is change. And in any political environment, nothing is constant. If there were situations in the past when a particular election was taking place, people vote based on the environment at that time. And the environment keeps changing.
Right.
That is why some candidates can lose election maybe 3 times, 4 times, and eventually become winners.
Why must it
you talk about...
why must it be the NDC and John Dramani Mahama again?
It is not NDC and John Dramani Mahama. It was first MPP and Nanado. Because have you counted the number of times Nanado lost elections before becoming the president? And the reason is that times change.
Are the circumstances the same?
And the circumstances...
Because Nanado had never been president the 3 times that he had run for elections. John Dramani Mahama had a taste half of 2012 to 2016, and then when he lost the election, right?
That is why people are calling for him. You can lose election because of some lies being peddled about you, some misunderstanding of your intentions by people around that time. If you are, some years ahead of your generation, whatever you do at a particular point in time, people may not understand it. But with the passage of time, they come to vindicate the positions. That is why
FM 92.7, Urban Lifestyle Radio Station.
Again, that was our colleague Kemini Amano speaking with Esiedun Ketia about whether or not Ghanaians are going to apologize or are now apologizing for calling former President John Dramani Mahama incompetent. I'll plug our telephone lines right about now, and you too can weigh in. This is Community Voices. Let us know what is happening in your community. What are your major gripes this morning? 055-924-2717. Again, 055-924-2717. Phone lines already blinking. Our other number, 055-6910-154. That's 055-6910-154. Hello, good morning. Who's calling? Where are you calling us from?
Good morning, Coffee Mate.
Good morning, Coffee Mates. Kosami, good to hear your voice.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
God bless you. Good morning.
The 24-hour economy that the president talked about. I think the media has shown us the way. Media, you 24 hours.
That's right.
Is it not so?
Correct.
So, it's possible that the nation can go into that and do it well. Look, NDC will say it and they will do it. Only people who can deceive Daniel since the days of the late President Kwame. When they deceive us, telling us that what he was giving us was not enough, they can give him more than what he was giving us. Later found out that it was all lies. They end up collapsing everything. They did that to other presidents like President Rawlings, that he's not doing well, they will come and do well, they end up selling Ghana Telecom, and now we are trying to sell the whole share that we have. And in our community, I think I'll continue calling on you people on the Kaukuri Gota.
Sure.
What is going there, it's going to cost us and you a price that we will not be ready to pay. Through the streets, the Nima street has come a begging street. The school streets don't have, place of convenience for people to go and use themselves. So put up something, all those authorities, especially my MP and the MP of Pechawa North, North, they are part of the assembly, members of the assembly. They cannot exonerate themselves from the assembly. They are part of the assembly. So they should tell us what is going on the Kaukuri Gota. I want to know the solution to it. Have a blessed morning.
Have a blessed morning, Kosami. Citizens and not spectators. Hello, good morning. Who's speaking? Where are you calling us from? Apologies. I've lost that caller. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, my sister.
Yes, Pastor Dewale. Great to hear your voice this morning. You're on air. Good morning.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I like the way you were having the framing and the comparison. And the electorate, for sure, I've already started deciding. In the past, in fact, just the 2020 election, there were a lot of fake appointments that were given to a lot of colleagues that they were posted here and there. Right after the election, they were told they should hold on. So Ghanaians will compare all this. And yesterday, just on your network, a teacher called from the Eastern region, as housemaster, there are 4 people being housed within a plywood divided apartment. And in fact, their family can't even stay with them. Ghanaians will compare all this. If that is the best investment in education, and we are told that most of the free education is the best, Ghanaians will compare all this. My sister, 621, Kaswa Highway now needs a traffic light, especially right after Old Barrier. 2 weeks intervals, I'm giving you this analysis. When you come to Kaswa and you are descending the bypass from Cape Coast, in fact, a young lady was killed just 2 weeks ago, knocked by a car. Instantly, she died. Just this very Monday, a place known as Iron City, where school children plow a lot. A lady with a baby at the back were crossing. She was also knocked, and that was the end. In fact, I think urgently we need a traffic light. Some of these routes need traffic lights, especially from broadcasting. And the drivers will be speeding. If half of zebra crossing doesn't work anymore. And
sadly.
So it doesn't work. And there's this bypass within 94. Kaswa Zone go to Peace Town Junction. In fact, the potholes are uncountable. And this road was just constructed 2015, 2016. My sister, the nature has deployed to the extent that, in fact, I pity those who plow that road on a daily basis. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Pastor Odewale. I think he says Kaswa Barrier needs that traffic light working immediately. I'll take my next caller. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Who's speaking, please?
My name is Maestro.
Maestro, where are you calling us from?
I'm going to be Ayawa Sunov.
All right, great to hear your voice. You're on air.
Your name?
Helen.
Helen,
yes.
Okay, that's okay. My good friends are there, Johnny Hughes, Alfredo Kansi, Martin Asidate. I know them more than 25 years ago. Yes, we worked together from Fresh FM to digital TV and whatever. So my regards to them this morning.
Sure.
Helen, let me also add my voice to Comrade Kosabi.
Sure.
You know, in 2011, from Nima Police Station to Accra Guest has been asphalted after Achampo 1974. And now the road is getting bad from the office, from the house of Akufado, President Akufado to Accra Guest. So I'm surprised that we have a two municipal assemblies. The Ayawasu East and Ayawasu North. And we promised 1 million per constituency. And they cannot even use this money to do this route. And we have a president in Nima, we have a vice president also in Nima, close to Mamobi Nima. And nothing is happening. For 7 good years. As Comrade Kosami said, your station has been trying, Community Connect. President Mahama spent close to $10 billion. $10 million on Kanda Ekaukudi drainage. And after the exit of NDC in 2016, nothing has been done again. People are taking their own way to do whatever they want to do on that drainage. When you go now, it is shaking. Even heavy trucks pass on it. And I don't know, nobody is talking to anybody. You know, in this our country, if you don't wear uniform, if you talk, people don't listen. Yes, people don't listen. So to me, I'll be very shocked if MPP Baumia will come to Mamo Bidime and campaign. What is he going to tell us? And I hope very well he is now a flag bearer of MPP. Now, Kenke will be selling 50 pesos. Kenke will sell 50 pesos because when Kenke is selling 1 city under John Dramani Mama, His Excellency, they say it's not the best. And now 5 city, 4 city Kenke. So to him, before he can come to Mamo Bidime and speak to us, they should sell Kenke 50 pesos before we can listen to him.
Wow.
50 pesos. Have a good morning.
Have a blessed morning. God bless you as well. What do we make of that? Kenke reverting to 50 pesos. Hello, good morning. Who's speaking? Where are you calling us from? Papa Bisu, great to hear your voice. Good morning.
Good morning, my dear. And then to Maestro, that's our Boflatic Helen. The next time when you come, don't come and ask what is his name. It's our Boflatic Helen.
Papa Bisu, let them know. Let them know.
For sure, man. So I salute you, my dear. I salute you.
Thank you.
Now, straight to what they call it, the Community Connect one.
Right.
The road from what they call it, the Ofanko to Isawam, being constructed by the Mel Group. They are creating problems for people living just after China Mall. We have an area called Chipontile. Stop the act of putting wood within the gutters that they've constructed, and then bring to the food blocks within the gutters and along the gutters so that human beings living in that area, and especially pregnant women, will not be in danger when they are crossing over to board vehicles on the road. You get what I'm trying to say?
Indeed.
They are using wooden structures, very weak ones, and not properly done. They are using, what they are using are blocks. Is that not it? So they should give some blocks to people living in that area. They are, excuse me to say, people living in Shipon are not animals. They are human beings. So they are bricks, especially pregnant women. Please, the Mao group, do that immediately. Now, on the 24-hour, what do you call it, economy.
Yes.
Wow.
In a minute from now, please.
That's a game changer. I said, His Excellency, John Mahama, is a visionary leader. He's done it before, and he will do it again. So that you see, man, is aware of all this things. So I salute His Excellency, John Mahama, for bringing along this particular 24-hour economy. Both for His Excellency, John Mahama, and the NDC.
Thank you so much, Papa Bisu. Thank you. Very passionate this morning. Hello, good morning. Who's speaking? Where are you calling us from?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, Helen, this is Crosby speaking from Abyssal.
Great to hear your voice.
Thank you. Helen, I'm very much happy for getting this opportunity to express some frustration that is really going on within Teshi, my area.
Talk to us.
Unfortunately, I think we are not in doomsday, but it looks like most of us within this enclave are experiencing this and nobody is really telling us anything. Actually, this is something I've been reporting for quite a long period of time. I think our friend will even be aware of it. Some parts of my area, especially even when you are coming from the Bush Road area, right down to Lekma itself, most of the times in the evening, you have almost about half of the area going off. And it's not like it's something that they've gotten us informed that, oh, you're going to go off maybe 6 o'clock or this and that. No. All of a sudden, in the evening, we realize that half of the place is gone. You have neighbors closer to you, they have light, and you are sitting in the middle. Either you alone, you have almost, when you don't have it, you have almost about 50 meters, that person doesn't have it. You have almost about 20 meters, the person doesn't have it. Just within, I don't know how they do that. But we've been complaining to these people at the ECG office at Lekman. They don't seem to have anything to do with it. When they go to give us the phone number, they take it, they say, we are aware. And nothing is being done for the past 2 weeks now. This is what has been happening. And when your gadget gets spoiled, nobody even, it's like you have to go and buy a new one. And when you bring it back, this same intermittent on and off kept on coming. They tell you, oh, the load is too much. So if the load is too much, am I the one to go and replace the what do you call it, the plants or what? I mean, we are getting frustrated within this area. Almost every evening, the light is off. As I'm talking to you now, most of us still don't even have light. And we don't even know how to iron. Nobody is telling us anything. It's pretty much bad. I don't know what you can do for us. Whether you go and ask them.
We'll have the ECG PRO joining us on the show this morning after about 8.
I thanks for getting through because it's getting too frustrating.
Stick with us. We'll also open up the phone line so that you can ask your questions directly. So don't change that dial this morning. The ECG PRO will be with us and we'll answer some of these questions for you.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. I'll take my last call and we'll park it here for Community Voices. Let us know what's going on in your community. Hello, good morning. Apologies, we've lost that caller, but that is it for Community Voices. We come your way 7:15 every morning, opening up the phone lines so that you can let us know what is going on in your community. But do you have some spare 19,000 Ghana cedis that you're not using for anything? Some spare 19,000 cedis maybe in your bank account, maybe under your bed. Take a listen to why I'm asking if you have this amount of money.
By high public debt levels, which hinder investments in social and economic development projects. And I give you, for example, in 2016, if you share the public debt of 120 billion among 30 million Ghanaians, each Ghanaian owed 4,000 Ghana cedis. Today, if you divide the debt of 577 billion by 30 million Ghanaians. All of us sitting here own 19,000 cities. This, coupled with a relatively high unemployment rate, particularly amongst the youth, exacerbates the challenges faced by our citizens. Inflation and exchange rate volatility further erode workers' purchasing power, as I said. For the first time in over 50 years, we have defaulted in payment of our debts, and we've been downgraded by credit rating agencies to the lowest level ever experienced, junk. In other words, baller status.
3FM 92.7, Urban Lifestyle Radio Station.
3FM Sunrise.
And that was former President of the Republic, John Dramani Mahama, talking about Ghana's public debt. We'll be asking you on the socials today. How much can you pay? How much can you pay today? We're told we each owe some 19,000 cedis if we're to divide our debt amongst the citizenry. All 30 plus million of us. 19,000 cedis each. 6 twos. How much can you pay today? If they come to you today, can we get maybe half? We'll get half from you, or you can pay. 6 says he has notebooks to give. Amaka, how much can you pay today? Your debt is 19,000 cedis. How much can you pay today if we come to you? Everybody owes 19,000. How much can you pay? Okay, Amaka hasn't had breakfast, so this question is out of place. But do connect with us on our socials. We'll gauge the temperatures there as well. Today, how much can you pay? Kelvin, each Ghanaian owes some 19,000 cedis. How much can you pay today if we come with our invoice? We come round. What about your hand? The sports update is coming your way. Calvin Owusu is here. He says he doesn't owe anybody 19,000 Ghana cedis. Let's get